Alright, so I decided to go for a bit of a jog today. All the gyms are closed here still, and they weren't in Indiana, so I've been having to do cardio. And so I did a harder run yesterday. I'm going to try and go lighter today. I haven't really run since like middle school. Alright, so I'm finally done with the run and getting showered and stretched and all that stuff, and getting ready. That took a lot longer than I expected because I'm not used to filming everything, and everything takes like 3 to 5 times as long when you're trying to film it. But anyway, as you can see, I'm back in LA. I'm in a new apartment. This is actually further off campus, but it's still UCLA housing. So I get a bit of a subsidized rate, and I have a lot more space because it's further off campus. So we do have a few in-person sessions now, which is why I'm back, and I have one of those later today. And because of that, UCLA is requiring all the students to get COVID tested twice a week. Fortunately, because this is UCLA housing, they bring a mobile testing bus right outside my apartment every Thursday so that you can do one of those tests right here. And so that's what I'm going to go do right now. And then I'll come back and do some studying. And then in the afternoon, I have a clinical experience thing, which I will talk about more later. Alright, so now the COVID test is done. Next thing I'm going to do is start reading through some of the lecture slides for some of the lectures I haven't watched yet. I started doing that because I found that one pass of just watching the lecture and taking notes while I do it wasn't really working anymore because all of the information was new and there were so many diseases filled into one lecture. So I've started doing this now that I've been out in LA and the weather's really nice all the time. I'm going to do what I saw on Prerec's channel a couple years ago, where he would do Anki and walk at the same time. So I'm going to go on a walk and read through my lecture slides at the same time. I mean, I'm sure I look like a bit of an idiot walking around with a giant iPad just reading slides. But one of the things that I've learned over the past year is that it really doesn't matter what people think. So right now I'm going to something called Preceptorship, and that's where they pair each first and second year student with a single doctor that they're going to follow around a few times and potentially help out with history taking and doing some physical exams. This year and last year I got paired with a nephrologist, which I thought I would be upset about. I don't get as much practice on the history and physicals as I would with something in primary care. But we are learning about the renal system right now, and so it's actually really useful to go in and actually see patients with the diseases I just learned about in lecture. So that's really nice. And I have 4 years of a PhD to forget how to do histories and physicals anyway, so I don't think it would have made much of a difference. So they assign us all around the UCLA health system This year I am in Santa Monica, and so that's where I am right now. I just parked and I have a bit of a walk to get in there, so I will see you after I'm done. So I just got out of preceptorship, which was about 3 hours long. I did get to examine some patients today, so that was really good because we haven't had much hands-on stuff at all this year. Really, it's just been the preceptorship, and even within preceptorship, I haven't gotten to do much yet. So today was good because I got to see some patients. And the patients were also really interesting, obviously all with kidney problems and nephrology. One of the patients actually had liver problems, which led to kidney problems. And we had just learned about that in class the other day, so that was really cool to see. Right now, I think I'm going to go home and watch some lectures, and then later tonight I have a meeting with the Christian Medical Student Association over Zoom, and I guess we will see where we go from there. Alright, I just got home from preceptorship. It's about 4:30 now, and I am now going to type up some emails and then watch a lecture or two, and then I need to make dinner. I also don't have any food for dinner, just like I didn't have food for lunch. I'm going to eat the leftover chicken that I made, but I don't have anything to go with it. So I need to go back to the store. I need to get better at planning these things out. But for now, it's nice that the store is right there. And then I have a meeting and I'm already pretty tired. So after my Zoom meeting, I'll probably crash for the day, both from Zoom fatigue and the fatigue from being in clinic and being judged all the time by both the patients and the doctors. And before I start on those things, I'll give you a bit of an update on where we are in med school right now. So right now we're on the cardiovascular, renal, and pulmonary disease block. So heart, lung, and kidney disease. I am pretty burnt out on med school at this point. I never expected to do a whole year of this online, but we are where we are. I only have about a month left of classes, and then I get a dedicated study period for step 1. Honestly, as long as I pass step 1, I'll be happy. I've learned that in this whole pandemic, I can't hold myself to too high of expectations. With all the social isolation, my work-life balance got completely messed up, and I haven't been able to get done nearly as much as I used to be able to get done. So I've started telling myself that as long as I can pass med school and pass step 1 in the middle of a pandemic, I should be happy with myself. And that is the standard that I'm holding myself to, and I'm not going to try to push myself harder than that when it would just send me into burnout. On a brighter note, I get the second dose of the vaccine on Monday. I'm sure it's going to be a really rough week for me because I reacted pretty badly to the first dose, and I know that the second dose is always worse. So that is what my next week will entail. But then I'll be vaccinated and won't have to worry as much about the whole pandemic, which is such a blessing.